Welcome back. I'm Roy with Rugged Badger Racing and Team Parts Badger. We have our truck, we have our trailer because it is finally time to load up and head to Road Atlanta. We are in freezing cold Wisconsin. The weather seems nice, up to the 70s in Atlanta. For once, last two times we raced there, we actually had snow. So let's get loaded up and start heading out to Road Atlanta. All right, as always, it's cold here in Wisconsin. We're getting ready to load up, but first I want to talk about our trailer because we have some upgrades. Now that we have two cars, we have an open trailer and we have our normal enclosed. We're going to be taking both down with us. So not only did we put airbags in our Tundra to help control the weight in the rear a little bit more, but we also have new axles. We were running 3,500 pound axles, and pretty much every single race we'd lose a tire, a wheel, a hub, something would go wrong, and frankly we were out of brakes. All the brakes had failed, and we found out at VIR North heading through the Appalachias that was a pretty bad thing. Luckily we were able to get the Tundra stopped and cooled down and then make it there and back, but we didn't want to do that again. So we bought new axles. This is an older RC trailer, and if you guys have ever seen this before, we actually have all this storage. So we have all these bins up top, and then we actually have a second row with 3 stacks of bins, and then we put our toolboxes up front. So this thing gets heavy. It's not just the car, and then once we get closer to the track, we put fuel in. So we worked with a local company called 189 Customs. He put some stickers on the trailer here. Did a good job overall. He put the axles in, fixed up some lights, fixed up the back of the trailer, did some sealing on the roof. So hopefully this thing's going to be good to go for a few more seasons, and hopefully it's smooth sailing all the way down to Atlanta. All right, we're back at the office. The guys are finishing loading up the RV, but we have another challenge. We have 14 tires. We're gonna have to figure out where we're gonna put these things, get them down to Atlanta. So our brilliant idea of palleting the tires didn't work out so well. So these are now on the road. Hopefully we can still leave on time. All right, driving through the night. Not sure exactly what time it was, who's driving, but had a nice surprise. Fuel stop at Buc-ee's. All right, everyone, how was Buc-ee's?
Oh, amazing, always.
All right, got about 5 hours to go. All right, we made it. We are here. Let's get unloaded. All right, we got to tech early before they opened, and luckily we were first in line, so we got the cars teched, ready to go. We are solid for 2025, which is great news. Now we can focus on rest of getting these cars ready for the test day. Unfortunately, we had a lot of fog. The defroster actually works really well in this car. This one's not hooked up, so that might be a problem. You can kind of see the fog down here at turn 1. I'm hoping that sun's gonna help lift that fog. I think we got a few hours before we go green. Hopefully that's enough time and the track can start drying up. It is still a little wet out here, just on the surface level. Hopefully that bakes off. All right, the sun is out, the ground is drying up, and we are getting ready for the driver's meeting. So what we did, we're going through our morning of the race checklist. We're kind of treating this like a race. Got this checklist here. So just going through the different items, make sure we have what we need configured. We have 1 hour, 30 minutes, 15 minutes. Right now we're edging in on 30 minutes to grid. So some of these aren't applicable, obviously, because it's a test day, but just getting these things knocked out, and then we'll be hitting the track shortly.
All right, so yeah, pretty much a race. The bunch of brake sale.
right, so the first test session is wrapped up, and I gotta say the plan was cool, calm, collected, just take it easy on the car. Let's just take it easy, let the guys learn, and I gotta say, like always, I think I did a phenomenal job overall. Nonetheless, we got some things we gotta work on the car. We have some brake fluid, some clutch fluid that's leaking. We don't necessarily know why. Right now the guys are taking the seat out. Now with the F car, a little bit different situation. They're actually driving that around right now. There they are, because we're trying to get that thing tuned. Now what had happened was the EGR block off actually came disconnected at some point, completely messed up the tune because we had auto tune turned on, because we haven't had a chance to get this thing to the dyno. So they're going around the paddock right now. Hopefully they can figure out the tune, get this thing back dialed in, and hopefully we didn't do any damage to the motor. We'll see. All right, we're in session 2, so the guys are out. We did some street tuning on the F car. I think the F car was good to go. I do not know if we damaged that motor, but at least we're out on track and it seems to be running. So far, so good. So we discovered 2 problems. One is we do not believe the fuel pump is picking up gasoline after about 8 or 9 gallons. When we filled up the tank, it took about 8. Maybe we put a gallon in before, after it died. Nonetheless, even when it was sitting standard level, it was not picking up fuel. So I think we have a fuel pump problem. Now this is an OE equivalent aftermarket tank. I think it's missing some of the baffling and maybe the shape's a little bit different. So we're gonna try to get that pump and try to move the pump lower to see if we're able to siphon the entire tank of fuel. Second problem is the fuel gauge read 6.4 gallons. When we put gasoline in, whether it was a gallon, still said 6.4. When we put 8 more in, still said 6.4. So Miller is in the RV right now, trying to figure out what's going on with that sensor. Hopefully we can get that reconfigured as well. So we have about 45 more minutes, get back out there, so hopefully we can get this car running. Just wrapped up the test day, so we got a laundry list of things we got to work on. So in our surge tank, our fuel pump started making a lot more noise. I think we came to the consensus that we're going to replace that. Luckily we have a spare. This thing is still ticking pretty loud, but unfortunately there's not a lot we can do. Nonetheless, we're dialing in the tune on this car, and then I think the F car is pretty much good to go outside of our normal checklist. Worked on a cool shirt system. We had a bad fitting there, so we're getting that fixed. It looks like our leaks are resolved on the brake master cylinder and the clutch master. I think they were just overfilled. One thing I forgot on the F car is actually we might have a front cam seal leak, so we're going to take the valve cover off and just take a look at those and see how bad they are. We might just race with it if it's not too bad, rather than trying to get that replaced, because we got to take all the timing stuff apart. That's not necessarily something we want to do tonight, especially after we just tested the car and it seemed to run okay. So all in all, good. Now let me talk a little bit about tires. So if you're watching my content, you know I decided on the RT660 Plus, which is the new version of the RT660. Rumor has it they were designing this tire and releasing it to fix a delamination issue. Well, there's my delamination issue. So we have 4 hours on this tire. This is the front left. Now this car was just corner balanced and aligned. We're running, I think, 5.5 degrees of caster, running about 2 degrees of camber. We also took pyro on this tire. And the driver's side tire, this actually was the tire that pyroed out the best. But this is what we're looking at. You can see these massive cuts into the tire all the way down here. So unfortunately, I don't think whatever they were working on resolved that issue with the middle tread. And I have about $3,300 in tires. Hopefully we can just continue to replace the left front and we won't have that issue, because it seems like the other ones are okay. But we'll see. Really sucks that came back again, especially after all that optimism about the new RT660 Plus. Anyway, we got a lot of work to do. Let's get back to work. All right, so we're getting the crew loaded up. We got the cars here. Frankly, we didn't fix as much as we wanted to, but I think we're gonna be good to go for the race tomorrow. I gotta tell you, I am tired. I've been up since about 1 a.m. driving and then now being here. It's been a long day, so hopefully we can get to the hotel, get a shower, and then get something to eat. All right, we got a good night's sleep. It is the morning of the race. Now, unfortunately, I did lose the SD card that had all of our morning of the race footage, including the driver's meeting, getting the car ready. So we're just gonna dive right in to the car themselves. Now, the cars do have in-car video. In the B car, that's gonna be myself driving along with Jeff. And in the F car, we have our new drivers. So we're gonna start out with Nick. He has the most experience driving within ChampCar. He's gonna kick us off, followed by Miller, and then Marvin in the F car. Now we are gonna reevaluate the driver lineup as the race goes on, so we have the best chance to win overall. Now the B car does have the best chance to win as far as overall pace, and we are going for an overall win. We do have about 8 or 9 other competitors in the B class, but our plan is an overall win or a podium from that car would be a phenomenal finish. Now with the F car, it is a much slower car, as we saw from the test day. It's about 10 seconds off the pace of the B car. So winning overall necessarily isn't in the cards, and it is racing against 2 other competitors within the F class. So we'll see how we do. Let's go ahead and get started. Unfortunately, at this point, we did lose in-car footage from the F car. We had both a Smarty Cam and a GoPro. The GoPro just stopped recording. We're not entirely sure why. And the Smarty Cam mount slipped loose and it wasn't recording any usable footage. Nonetheless, you'll see the F car during some of the pit stops. Tight?
Yep.
Okay. So. Nick's in with the F car. Unfortunately, we were getting low oil. Luckily, Nick caught it on the gauge. He was getting about 15 psi in corners, so we're gonna add about 1.5 quarts. Now, we were leaking out of either the valve cover or the front seal. We're letting it rip, but we got to remember to add oil moving forward. How's it going, Nick?
Going all right.
So it's dropping to 15 in a corner?
It was dropping out 10, I saw now.
10? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, start it up and see what it is. That should be about where we go. All right, go, Nick. All right, apparently that ignition, that's gonna be number 1 on the list to get replaced after this. It's really hard to get that key locked into the right place to get that ignition to turn. Obviously, it just costs us about 20 seconds.
Trying to save it, it's still.
Yeah, definitely have one slab.
I got done with my stint. I gotta say, I didn't think it went too hot. I was having some play in the steering. I wasn't sure exactly what it was. Kind of got in my head a little bit. And then in the first purple 35, I pulled in, had the team check it. We spent about 3 minutes in the pits, checked it over, didn't find anything wrong. I went back out. I wasn't able to put the times I put down in the morning, but eventually I got into the 41s, which I ran a 40 flat, somewhere in that territory. this morning, so the speed is in the car, and I'm thinking maybe it was just a bit in my head. We had the steering play, I'm not sure why. Nonetheless, I don't know how, but we maintained first. So we're in first overall. If it's any better, on pit strategy, we got really fortunate that there was a red flag right when we pulled into the pit. So then they stayed double yellow for a while, and we basically got another 50% off pit stop. So we've gotten really fortunate on the pit strategy. Hopefully we can keep it up. Obviously, let's see how far in we are. Yeah, we're about 5 hours in. I gotta say, it couldn't have gone any better, knock on wood. Let's just keep it safe and consistent. Welcome to the Pit Lane Chat with Roy. New series I'm doing where I'm interviewing our crew. Hey Miller.
Hey Roy.
How are you running today?
We're running okay, I think. I think we could do a little better, you know, first time around here on the track today, but yeah, the car is running fine, and just hope we do better and better every time.
So the burning question on the event is, we decided to build the F car, not another B car, so it'd be easier to drive. So the fans want to know, is the F car easier to drive?
It is not.
All right.
If you do have the opportunity, go with the B car.
Okay, why is that? What about it?
It's just not as stable as the other one is,
Yeah.
and maybe, you know, we do have an advantage because we have the opportunity to drive the B car as well, so we can tell the difference.
Okay.
So it's definitely not as stable, not as easy to drive around the corners. It bounces around a little more and slides around a little more than you like to.
Yeah, it's probably just a spring rate, but it does handle very similar, like Tommy said, handles a lot like the Spec Miata, but these guys are used to the B car, and the B car is stiff. I think we have 900 pound, 850 pound front springs, and the rear springs, those are only 300 pounds, but we cut them. I think they're like 350, we cut those, and we're running a pretty tough bump stop, so it's a really nice transition in a bump stop, where I think in the F car it's not as clean. So tell me, Miller, how did you get into racing? So you're part of the new crop of drivers that we're bringing up. How did you get started in that?
Just really wanted to get involved and participating. I went to Gingerman about a year or so ago and helping crew and just helping around, you know, around the pit area, trying to do as much as possible, and then also doing some test drives with Roy here. Again, lucky enough that he's given me the opportunity to go out there. Unfortunately, the first time around I went off on his Lotus, but you know, that was a lot of fun and a good experience as well. But yeah, you know, it's just going out there, doing the laps. We're doing a lot of iRacing too, individually and as a team, and I think that helps quite a bit as well.
All right, thanks Miller, appreciate it.
Yeah.
Come back to the show anytime.
Well, we'll do.
We did get a black flag for the 414 car for failure to stop under red flag. Now, he was on the pit road already when the red flag started, and then as he was coming down, you know, he didn't want to block the ambulance, the emergency vehicles, he rolled it down, and then when he got to pit in, they thanked him for not blocking the pit lane for the emergency vehicles. So not sure why we're getting penalized now, but we'll go talk to control. We'll see what they say about it. Welcome to this episode of Marvin's upset about his black flag penalty.
I'm not even upset. I don't know what you're talking about.
So went up to race control. They had a clear view of it, and I guess rolling down, they said by the Fox Bridge, rolling down, other cars stopped. I understood that I was not going to win that argument. Marvin is a little upset about it.
It's a
difference of opinion on how a racetrack should be organized under red flag.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of the red mist right now.
I wouldn't say
So you're a little frustrated. I get it. I get frustrated when I'm penalized as well, and it's never my fault. But it's all right. It's a long race, so we'll make it up. Nonetheless, we do have a tire issue. So Marvin, tell us about our tire issue.
Yeah, so we're running the RT660s again this weekend. It's a fast tire when it doesn't do this. So we're experiencing delamination. We've had it on both cars now. In the left front, it's really bad on the B-car, and the F-car is experiencing it in the
Holy cow, look at that.
left
It's
rear.
just like gone.
Yeah,
right there.
so it makes it really difficult to drive. It's definitely more unstable. With the B-car, it just creates a really strong push and, you know, entry to middle. The F-car wants to over-rotate anytime you're going around a right-hander, so we're going to try and figure out how to manage tires to get to the end of the race.
Yeah, we'll see. Let's see if we can spend $3,300 in tires in one race. All right, so here we have Marvin. So Marvin, you're the guy that was with me at VR North, right?
I am.
How do you feel about that race?
It went well. Definitely exceeded my expectations. I definitely didn't have the pace that you and Jeff had, but it was fun to hop in for at least one stint, be part of the second place overall. First in class both days too was pretty cool, so definitely hooked on ChampCar racing now.
All right, nice. Now, this will definitely boost your ego. Jeff did say that in a year you're going to be faster than him. Do you think he's right?
I don't know about that. Jeff's a really good driver. That's pretty high praise coming from him, and if I get to be half as much of a driver as he is, I'd be very, very happy with my results.
Pouring on the perfume. All right, I like it. All right, so the number one question we have is, we built the F car, so the F car, you guys would have something easier to drive than the B car. So is the F car easier to drive than the B car?
I think for me, it's just a driving style preference.
That's not what you were saying before. I think you said it's shit. I think you're like, the F car is shit.
I didn't know if I could swear in the interview. Yeah, I hate
The
it.
exhaust seems to be getting louder in the FastLane car, FYI.
All right, so exhaust is getting louder in the F car. So should he pull in now?
I told you that car's shit.
It's under purple.
They've been under purple 35 for a while.
Here,
hold on.
maybe you should
Yeah,
pop in. If they're gonna stay under purple and you just want to pop in real quick, we can just look at it.
Why we're purple? He just drove by. He had
Careful, I'll see where they're at after this lap, or on this lap.
Yeah, just drive a lot further to the left next time, and then we'll be able to see it. There he is. We just missed him. Copy. Don't worry about that. That one doesn't matter. Looks like it's going yellow. You're going to be going green soon. All right, well, we're back green, so I guess that'll conclude our interview, Marvin.
I guess so. That was an interesting one.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about what got you into ChampCar and kind of the development you've done so far later.
Sounds good.
So we've had a crazy few hours. It is almost 6 o'clock, which means we have 4 hours to go. We are currently still third. We did get passed by Cone Crushers, if you see that there. We are also being chased by premium dudes. But at this point, we all have the same number of pit stops, assuming we make it to our pit windows, which we calculated here, which is 6:50 is gonna be the next pit stop, then 8:25, and then that'll take us to the finish. So it is going to be really close. We're all running about the same times with these guys. It might come down to purple 35 and where those windows hit, because I believe those guys have to be on a 2-hour strategy, or we're on an 1.5-hour strategy. If we get lucky on the purple 35s, we're in good shape. If we don't get lucky, if it goes a different direction, then we have no shot. So we'll see how it goes. Now, we did get calls. We are having a heck of a problem with tires. We're also having issues with the 3rd to 4th shift. I don't know, we were having issues with the motor mounts as well, that they were getting really loose, and that's probably causing some of our steering issues because it's hitting the steering rack, and it's probably creating some alignment issues as well with that transmission, or maybe the transmission's done. It is coming towards 100 hours. Even though it was a brand new transmission, we are running a lot more power. Now for the F car, that's been running pretty well for the most part. Problem is we don't have any tires. We've been using all the tires on the B car, so the F car doesn't have any tires left. Now the exhaust is loud and it is burning oil, but other than that, the F car is a trooper, and that's been going pretty strong. So overall, we'll see. Got 4 hours to go. All right, so bad news. We are right on the dot for the 2-hour strategy, and we have a purple 35, and we have the competitors in the pits. So I'm pretty sure Premium Dudes is pitting. We'll see if Cone Crusher is in the MR2 pits as well. Definitely Eddie Vedder is pitting. Yeah, I think that's Cone Crushers right now. Yeah, so fingers crossed, hopefully we can get a purple 35 as well, or we're not gonna stand a chance. We're gonna get leapfrogged here for sure. So in light of everybody else getting the purple 35 for their pit stop, we're gonna open it up a bit. So we're gonna try to open our pit window, and worst case scenario, we'll try to fuel save. I think that's gonna be our best bet, but we'll see. It is night now. The sun has just about set. It is a little darker than the camera lets on. Cars are out there, lights on. So far everything seems good as far as that's concerned. Now we are in second place, but third and fourth both have an additional pit stop that we don't have yet. So we're definitely going to lose those positions, especially if we pit under green. Now, pace-wise, Jeff has been picking it up a bit, and he is pacing a little bit quicker. Now, night is a whole new game, so hopefully we're able to pick up speed at night versus the competitors and get some of this time back, but we'll see. Welcome to the trackside interview. I am here with Kyle. It is the middle of the night. Hey Kyle, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing good. And interviews are your favorite, right?
Yeah, best thing in the world.
Yeah. So, how did you get into this? Why are you here today?
Well, I'm here today because I'm helping out at the pits, and I do some wrenching and tuning and the fuel, but mostly we're keeping an eye on all the parts.
A little loud in the background right now.
Keeping an eye on all the parts we sell and doing some testing. And
yeah, so Kyle So Kyle's the guy that takes some of the stuff we develop at Rugged Badger Racing and make at Parts Badger, and he sells that under Beyond Motorsports, in addition to hopefully a lot of other things, right?
Yep. And
yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, interviews are his favorite. Sorry about that, Kyle. All right, let's get back to racing. So maybe we're not going to get lucky. He's pretty low on fuel, so we're going to pit him right now, right at the start of our other window. So we don't have any fuel saved, but we're not pitting under purple 35 either, which means we only have one more shot. So it's definitely dark out now. But I hear that the lights are good. Just got done with my last stint, about an hour to go. We are in third place. Didn't really get a purple 35 for the last pit stop, but I passed Eddie Vedder, the leader, right before the red flag. Well, I had a red flag. There was a red flag, a car on fire. I'll get to that in a second. So there's a red flag. I passed Eddie Vedder. The pace car comes around behind me, so I haul ass to get in the front of the field, and we got in the pit early, and we saved some time in the pit. When I got in, I got out of the car, and they said the car that was on fire was Cone Crushers, who we were competing with. So I really don't like to take a position that way, but we're on the podium, you know, and that's racing. I hope everybody's okay. I think the ambulance went away right away, so I'll check in on that. But now we have 1 hour. Jeff's in the car. He just has to take it home. So we're gonna figure out what the gap is, radio into Jeff. Jeff's just gonna drive conservative, and hopefully we get a podium. So we have about 20 minutes to go. So Jeff's putting in some management laps right now. We're tearing down the pit station. So overall, we're running third. We should have that on lock. I don't want to jinx it, but if he just takes the car home, we're gonna have a podium. See where the F car is right now. Check on my phone. Yeah, 8 laps for the F car. I don't think we're gonna make up 8 laps, but I gotta say, for a brand new build, We are 13 hours and 40 minutes in, and it's still running, which is pretty amazing. So we do have at least a leaky valve cover, maybe the front seals. So we were running low on oil for sure. We know that's a problem. We're also having issues with the exhaust. The header bolts were actually starting to come loose. The header to downpipe, so they got that tightened. But hopefully everything goes well. That car's gonna finish for 14 hours as well. So we have 1 minute. We're just looking to see when they're gonna throw checker. Looks like they just got the sign for 1 to go. All the ChampCar people are way down there. I wonder if they're gonna yell at us if we run to the fence. That's it, we got a podium. Yeah! I believe both of you are gonna get flagged for impound. Marvin for second in class, and then Jeff for third overall and first in B class. Let's get some hardware.
Well guys, ever since I got into endurance racing, I wanted to have a two-person driver setup. And I never thought in a million years we'd be on the podium at goddamn Road Atlanta in a huge field. Congratulations to everybody that made this happen.
Thanks, Jeff. Great work. Way to bring her home.
Thanks, Jeff. Great work. Way to bring her home. Great job, Marvin. Brand new car. 14 hours in the first race. Unbelievable.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you to Brandon as well. Helping me out. Thank you, Roy, for letting us be here. It's an amazing experience. Appreciate all of you.
I know, we were yeah!
That's the F car.
Where the hell did you pass him at?
Right down the middle here.
Hands up, everybody, we got cars coming through here.
Atta boy! Here we go! Atta boy! Woo!
All right.
Well done, man. Way to bring her home.
Woo!
Awesome job.
Podium! So, if you ever wonder why my car is so dirty, this is what it looks like after an endurance race.
We are going to jump into our B class winners and third place overall. B class third place overall goes to car number 630, Parts Badger.
All right, we are all loaded up here. We got the Tundra ready to go, got the F car and the RV ready to go. It is 12:39, so 40 minutes longer than I wanted, but I would say I'm happy that we were able to do impound. That obviously took a little bit longer, and boy, do we have a lot of stuff, especially with two cars. It takes a long time to pack up, but let's get the show on the road, start heading home. And we are back in freezing cold Wisconsin. After about 70-degree weather down at Road Atlanta. It is chilly here, but we got to get these cars unloaded, get them back in the garage, hopefully before the cool shirts freeze and everything else. Hopefully they stayed warm enough. Last time we got back from a race, which was VIR North, we actually froze in the B-Car. We froze the radiator popped, and we actually destroyed the water pump, which we found out recently after getting the exhaust fixed, trying to drive it back, and it overheated. We ended up having to replace the water pump because the impeller shaft sheared. So be very careful about freezing these cars when going from the warm weather races to the cold weather races. Let's get unloaded. And that's a wrap. The cars are back here. We're in the garage. I gotta say, that was a lot of driving. A lot of driving to get there, a lot of driving at the event, a lot of driving to get back. I am exhausted, but wow, I could not be happier with the finishes. Obviously, getting a podium in the B-Car with a stacked field at Road Atlanta is pretty awesome. Gotta love the night racing. And I gotta say, with a crop of brand new drivers, with a brand new build, to finish a 14-hour race is really incredible. They drove a great race overall, and obviously with the car prep, not only the previous owner, Brandon, taking good care of the car, but also what the team did to get this car ready and prepared. It is very rare for a new car to finish a race, let alone a 14-hour race. Now, we have a lot of work to do. Obviously, we have a tire situation we're gonna have to figure out. We got some odds and ends. Overall, we had some steering issues in this car, which I believe were related to the motor mounts. I believe the poly bushings were either melting or getting a little bit loose. Over here on the F car, we definitely have some exhaust issues in the muffler. We got to check motor health and the tune. So stay tuned for more videos. So if you like this content, please remember to like and subscribe below. Not only am I going to do a review of all the tires, I'm going to have a budget breakdown. Sure, I'm going to have some other videos as well. And next up, we get prepared for NCM, which is the National Championship. At a minimum, we're going to be racing the B-Car at the National Championship. So stay tuned. And if you remember, like and subscribe below, I'd appreciate it. Thanks for watching.